Hello, myself Muhammad Imran Seke. I am Electronics and Communication Engineer from the National Institute of Engineering, Mysore. So today my topic of presentation is power electronics. Yes, power electronics is a branch of electronics which deals in the conversion of power electrical characteristics such as current, voltage as well as frequencies by using solid state devices along with passive components to get a desirable output in a controlled way. So this power electronics means the usage of power electronics in a simple charging a battery. Suppose if I need to charge my mobile battery, first I connect a converter to the main AC input that is of 250 volt. So this converter, the 250 volt AC into DC of just 5 volts, this 5 volt is very much compatible to charge my mobile battery. So next, if I look the agenda of my presentation is here: history of power devices, components of power electronic converters, next type of converters, and then application of these converters in various fields. So first come to the history of power devices. So the beginning of a solid state device invention is in 19th century, first with diode. It's a 2-terminal device. Then later on, a 3-terminal device, a bipolar junction transistor, was invented by John Berting, William Balter, and William B. Shockley in a Bell laboratory. So this bipolar junction transistor, which replaces the vacuum tubes, so that we are going to use for conversion using amplification of weak signals. Then later on, General Electric, they discovered SCR, so thyristor. So in 1957, here this marks the beginning of a solid power electronics era. So in which MOSFET, metal oxide field effect transistor, is in 1970s, IGBT insulated gate bipolar transistor in 1990s, then later on MCT, MOS controlled thyristor, and silicon carbide in 2000. So this is about the history of power devices. Now if you look into the components which are extensively used in power electronic converters, so the main thing, these components which are going to deal with the power, electric power. So this is what we are going to play with this power. So this power is going to be step down or step up or amplified or to switch off and switch on by using these components. So first we know this, what is this power? Generally the power which you get is in AC form or is in DC form by generated by alternating current and alternating generators as well as DC generators. AC generators, DC generators, as well as we get power from chemical batteries. So these things generate by using renewable as well as non-renewable energy resources that present in the nature. And next we look onto the devices. So here one is active devices and passive devices. So in active devices comes solid state devices such as 2-terminal device as well as 3-terminal device, diodes as well as BJT as MOSFET, thyristors, and passive devices such as resistors, capacitors, inductors. And next if we look, first we look to the passive devices. First we look to the active devices. It's categorized into 2-terminal one and 3 terminals. So in 2 terminals, here we are going to discuss about PN junction diode and pin diode and Schottky diode. So this PN junction diode is mainly used for rectification as well as switching purpose. So the rectification process is carried for half wave rectification, full wave rectification, as well as in bridge rectification. Here the alternating current is going to convert into DC current, direct current. So here the half wave or the full waves are by using a bridge rectifier that removes the center tapping of transformer and gives exact and lowering the voltage and gives exact output voltage. So next comes to the PAN diode. Here this is a 3-layer diode. So P in between an intrinsic layer and an N layer. So as we give supply to this PAN junction diode, so the P holes from this and N electron from this, they get feed to this intrinsic layer. Once it overflow, the conduction begins. So next comes the Schottky diode. In Schottky diode, the anode is made up of a metal and the cathode, which is of N type, and it is very much useful for high switching and line frequency purposes. So these marks the linear characteristics of the diodes. And next we look to the 3-terminal devices. It's having two types. One is thyristor, another one is controlled switches. So thyristor marks its own family. It's contained various types. In control switches we have bipolar junction transistor BJT, MOSFET, IGBT, GTOs. So first we look into this control switches. First we see the bipolar junction transistor. So this bipolar junction transistor is a 3-terminal device. And it's a configuration of PN NPN layer as well as NPN layer. So if we take NPN configuration by common emitter, so in this, to drive this transistor, I need a base current. So by passing base current to this, it will get conduct in this region, VCE. So this VCE gives the output in an amplified form. So next, for power application purpose, we are going to here use as a Darlington pair. So in this type, this Darlington pair used to achieve high base current to the transistor for fast switching. So output of transistor T1 is fed to the transistor T2. So this here we get a high base current for switching this T2. And this BJT is a current drive compared to other MOSFETs. So one drawback of this BJT is it's very much used for a low voltage purposes and high frequencies. So that one comes in a category of power devices, but in some situations we use this BJT. And next, if you look onto the MOSFET, so this MOSFET is a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor which having 3 layers. First one is a gate, next gate linked with a metal and an oxide layer, and next a semiconductor which having diffuse N types. So here the gate is usually we are isolated the gate by using a metal. Once this MOSFET is a voltage drive and bipolar junction is a current drive, so by giving a suitable voltage, achieving a channel between drain to source, this MOSFET usually conduct, and this used for high frequency but low power devices. Yeah, this MOSFET uses a low power input and the switching frequency is very much high. So this is very much ideal for switching supply as well as in home applications. Next, in the advancement of control switch, there is another type that is called IGBT. So IGBT is a combination of bipolar junction transistor as well as MOSFET. So here gate is insulated, rather isolated. Here we are insulated, and it's having a property of bipolar junction transistor as well as MOSFET. So here for switching it uses voltage supply, and it usually works for low power devices too. So here this IGBT having a working frequency of 1 kHz to 30 kHz, and it's achieved very good input voltage. So it's from 10 volts to hundreds of kilovolts. And next comes the GTO. So before GTO, let's see about the thyristor. In a thyristor, we have two types. One is inverter grade and converter grade. So this converter gate is usually slow and is used in a natural commutation purposes, and this inverter gate is a fast switching and is used in a force commutation purpose. Yes. So next, this thyristor is a 3-terminal device which having a 4 layers. So these 4 layers are P, N, P, N. So one is anode, another one is cathode, next is a gate. So there are various methods to switching on this thyristor. One is forward voltage method, forward breakover voltage. Here by constant supply of voltage to anode and cathode, by this junction J1 is forward bias and J3 is also forward bias. So this J2 is in reverse bias. Once the reverse breakover achieved, so this device will conduct. And in next type, once giving a forward voltage, by applying a suitable gate pulse to this, by applying this suitable gate pulse, here this also get forward bias, so it conduction start. So once the conduction starts, it's very much uncontrollable. So to control this device, we are going to use various commutation techniques as well as different types of gate triggering techniques. Yes. And next, if you look on in thyristor category, we have triac. So this triac is a bidirectional conduction. Here it can conduct as well as in positive side as well as in negative side. So this is the conduction model of a triac. V and I, minus I, minus V. So next comes a MCT. So MCT is one of the good variation of a triac. Here it is a mass control thyristor. So the gate which you are using for a thyristor, here the gate is a metal oxide one, MOSFET type one. So the gate is going to get a voltage drive. By that voltage drive, the gate is switch on and reverse control thyristor. So usually in certain situations, so we use a freewheeling diode concept. That diode is going to be anti-parallel with a device. So rather connecting an anti-parallel device in a circuitry, so here integrating that device, the diode with a switch, with a thyristor. So this is the integration one, which you are going to construct in a RCT, reverse control thyristor. So this marks the thyristor family. Here the working of thyristor, it takes the voltage 100 volts to work in a 10 megavolts, and it is very much useful in power transmission. And next GPOs is UPS as well as industrial purposes, and motor drives and IGBT and robotics as well as in welding machines. So next the MOSFET is in automotive as well as switching power supply, home applications and computers. So this graph gives the complete overall description of a voltage input, which device you are going to take, and working frequencies. Next, we look into the characteristics of these devices. One, small leakage current in off state. So generally, when the device is in off condition also, it leaks some current in practical scenario. And next, small on stage voltage drop to minimize conductive loss. Once the device is conducted, so it's having its own voltage drop. And next, short turn on and turn off time for the gates. So usually the gates prefer short turn on and turn off times, and large forward and reverse voltage blocking capability minimize need of serial devices. So once you are achieving large voltage blocking or forward blocking or reverse blocking, you need to give series of switches. And next, high on-state need current rating. So in this type, you are going to apply a parallel device such as a diode which functions as freewheeling because of resonant circuitry present in the circuit, which blocks which take over during in reverse voltage also, which take over the outputs. So to eliminate that, we are using parallel devices. And next, small control power to the gate device. So here we need to give some control power to the gate device and capability to withstand rated current. So here the rated currents mean di by dt as well as dv by dt. So these rated current and rated voltage, once the circuit should work under these circumstances. Once this DIVDT or DVBTT increases, it may damage the switches. And next, eliminate the need of snubber. So the snubber is a circuitry which give protection to the circuit from from its internal induction voltage. So these voltages can be eliminated by using snubber that having RC or RL components. So next, come on to the another type of components such as passive components. So here the passive components marked as inductors. They perform magnetic action. So one thing is single winding inductor. So in this single winding inductor, it's mainly used for filtering the current as well as for providing resonate. And next, in multi-winding coupled inductor, they are for filtering as well as isolation of a voltage. And in transformer, same as isolation as well as stepping up or stepping down the voltage. So depending on if the circuitry need the stepping down the voltage, so by decreasing the turn in secondary, we are stepping down the voltage here. And next, in the passive device category, there is a capacitor, which is a custom requirement. So these capacitors are used to store the electrical charges as well as filtering the voltage as well as current in the circuit, right? And snubber circuits. The main purpose of snubber circuit is to remove dV by dt as well as di by dt effect in the circuit. And next, it gives protection to the circuitry from its own internal breakdowns. And heat sink. So these heat sinks are extensively used in power electronics concept because these devices can dissipate lot of heat. To dissipated heat, to absorb that heat, we use a special metal. So the metal having a very good design. So that design is used to dissipate the heat. So first one is cooling for semiconductor device, and next a piece of metal designed to dissipate the heat. So this marks the components and characteristics and the graph which gives the input voltage, working voltage and working frequency for the device. And next we look into the types of power converter circuitries which are going to use here is. There are usually 4 types of circuitries we are used here as AC to DC is called converter, and AC to AC is called cycloconverters, and next DC to DC generally called choppers, and DC to AC called inverters. So first we see the DC to AC to DC converter, that is called rectifiers. So in this rectification process, I use a switch. So that is in the form of a thyristor. So these switches work depending upon the input voltage. So here a sinusoidal input voltage which having an amplitude of Em and phase of omega t. So V is equal to Em sin omega t. So this is my input voltage, and this is an alternating form. Once I connect it to a thyristor, so this thyristor conduct during positive half cycle, that too positive half cycle, and that too by triggering a gate pulse at an angle alpha. Here the conduction begins. Once the conduction begins, during negative half cycle, this anode is conduct only for positive half cycle, and for negative half cycle the anode won't conduct. So it gives a space, and then for another half cycle it started conducting. Once if we check the load, type of load which are going to use, suppose if it is a RL load, even during the negative half cycle, the device still conduct because of internal resonance, and this inductance emit the output voltage. So this gives like this. So to remove this much of voltage, negative voltage, so I use a freewheeling diode. So this freewheeling diode works once the device is switched off. It checks the output from the switch and gives desired output. So this is one of the function of a half wave rectifier, and next we will see to the single phase full wave rectification. Here a transformer is going to use with a step down transformer with a central tap. So instead of using one switch, I use here two switches. So these two switches conduct as well as in positive half cycle as well as in negative half cycle. So once the conduction begins, depending upon the type of load, suppose if it is a resistive load, we won't get any any negative pulse in a negative cycle. Suppose if it is an inductor load, so this marks a output in a gives negative breakover voltage in the output. So to check again, we are using a freewheeling diode. And next is a single phase bridge converter. So the advantage of taking this bridge converter is once it removes the central tap, and next time it won't divide the input voltage as divided in a full wave converter. So this bridge converter, the only thing which uses is a 4 switches rather using 2 switches, and it is very useful in battery chargers as well as computer power supplies. So this is about the AC to DC conversion, that is called rectification. And next we look to the AC to AC converter, it is also called cyclo converter. Generally in an application process, generally in the industrial application process, we go for AC to DC conversion. Again this DC is again converted to AC. So for controlling the load which present a motor load. So rather using a AC motor, rather using a AC 3-phase directly to this motor, because if we use a direct 3-phase to this motor, it is very much uncontrollable. So to give a control mechanism, we go for this AC. We go for the first conversion, AC to DC, again DC to AC inversion. Then from that we give voltage to this motor. So this is one type. And next, suppose if I don't need this DC converter here, directly I want to convert AC to AC, I go for a matrix converter. In these matrix having a nodes, so these nodes consist of a bidirectional switches. So these switches having both input as well as output lines. So by taking a frequency, input frequency, so they give output which is of desired values. So generally here frequency is going to be reduced here. So this is about the AC to AC conversion, and generally used in large machine drives as well as in industrial application purposes. And next come to the DC to AC, it is called inverters. Here in this DC to AC type, generally this we are doing a first VDA, line voltage. So next, one thing, this voltage is get divided into VD by 2 and VD by 2. Here this is a simple type in which we are going to use 2 switches. Once TA is on, one switch is on, so this TA switch conduct and gives one mark. So these are the triggering pulse. This is for TA switch and this is for TA minus switch. Once we give this pulse, so TA is on, it conducts in forward direction. Once this is off, then TA minus another switch will conduct. Once this will conduct, as it stores a negative voltage, that will flow in the circuitry. It marks here into the load. So like this, a DC voltage is converted into AC type. So next, in a 3-phase inverter, so here 3 blocks of having each block having 2 switches which are going to connect, and these marks at 3 phases, different phases. One is 360 degree, 180 degree and 120 degree. So like this way, each line is connected to a load, whether it is an induction motor. From this 3-phase we are going to run that motor. So this is about the DC to AC inverters, and these are very much used in UPS and grid connections. And next come to the DC to DC converter. This is also called as choppers. So in this type of converter we have 3 types. One is buck converter, and next is a boost converter, and last one is a buck boost. It's a combination of both converters. So this here in this type of converter, as input you give, once the switch is on, it follows the output. And in a buck converter, we are going to taking voltage down here. So it is a step down form. So once the switch Q1 is on, as the input goes to the output, so this inductor stores some energy. So this storing of that energy decreases the output voltage. And next come to the boost converter. In this, once if this switch is once this switch is on state, then it feeds to the inductor first. Once this inductor stored energy, once this switch is off, this inductor energy with a input voltage is fed to the output. So here the sum up of both inductor energy plus the input voltage, this marks a step up the voltage. Once you come to the buck boost converter type, here depending upon the duty cycles of each switches, this marks, suppose if duty cycle is less compared to one switch, it goes for a buck converter. If Q2 is having a very good is having a large duty cycle, it goes for a boost converter. So this is about the DC to DC conversion type, and this we are going to use in traction device as well as charging a battery. Once it converted to AC, again DC, once again DC is again converted to some low value. So we use this DC to DC converters. And next we look to the application of power electronics converters. So application of power electronic converters having a very broad outlook, and it can be used in various fields. One simple diagram of this block diagram of this converter is one the input source, which is of a AC or DC, or input is having a current as well as voltage, because in inverter case we are going to use voltage inverters as well as current inverters too. So this gives to the power electronics converter, which marks the power electronics circuitries and the output to the load. So here the load usually drives or a motors. So we are taking some samples from this output, such as measurements of current as well as speeds fed to the controller. So this controller having a circuitry of processors such as microcontrollers as well as DSP controllers. So they pass controlling signal to the firing circuitry. So these firing circuitry provide gate pulses present to the devices switches present in this power electronics converter block. So this is about the general block diagram. And next, if you look to the computer power supply type, so in this type of conversion, first a 120 volt hertz AC supply. So this supply is given to the AC to DC converter. Here this device is going to convert the output voltage to DC form. So again this DC, again here I am going to convert this DC into again DC conversion by using buck or boost converters. So this marks this, and the converted one is taking from step down transformers. So such as it marks 12 volt, 5 volt as 5 volt divisions. So output taking samples from this again given to the controller. So these provide controlling to this block. So this is about the computer power supply. And next to the adjustable speed motor drive, here a 3-phase AC supply that going to rectify AC to DC conversion, and then again this fed to the inverter block. So this takes the DC input. So taking this DC input again providing a 3-phase output here to drive the motor. So one taking the position of the motor as a feedback, and next current samples to this DSP base control. So this base control provides gives signals to the firing circuits. So these firing circuits provides firing pulse to the gate present in this inverter block. So this is about the adjustable speed motor drive. And next, look into the flexible AC transmission system. So generally the transmission system power generated from the transmission generator is going to step up by using one step up transformer, passing to the lines, again from this transformer stepping down and distributed. So by application of power electronics in this system for secure transmission, one is SSB. This is a second solid state breaker. So this breaker is usually fed of two types. One type basically is going to fed from two generators input. So again this is passed on a UPFC. This is unified power flow control. So this control any fluctuation in the voltage or current. So this along with a static compensator So they mark the buses. So these buses again a solid state breaker which breaks from a voltage regulator. So this voltage regulator depending upon the industrial purpose as well as in end use such as in homes. So these along with the microgrids, from this also this is secondary supplies such as from wind turbines as DC generators. So along with this they mark to the end use. So here the four blocks, one is generation, transmission, distribution and the end use. So this is a flexible AC transmission which is going to use power electronic circuitry in the system. And next come to the distribution grid. So in this type, first thing of this fuel cells which produce DC output. So this DC to DC conversion again fed to the inverter. So from this inverter again you are going to convert into three-phase output. So one type, so this distribution grid having a power electronic circuitry, but they are integrated and very much applicable in these type of conversions. And next, these grids which are going to use in generation W-fed induction generator. So to a wind turbine, here a battery source or a photovoltaic cell which is linked with two inverters. One inverter DC to AC inverter is used to little bit running of this wind turbine first. Then later on wind turbine produces the three-phase output. So this three-phase output is taken here, and another from the inverter again feeding back to the three-phase inverter. So this is how this grid works here. And next we look to the battery charging mechanism. So first thing, the end use of usage of batteries in telecommunication, electric as well as in hybrid vehicles, portable electric and energy storage purpose. So generally during the low state of a battery, a constant current is needed to charge. And next 80% of the charge, when it reaches to the 80% of the charge, a constant voltage, it builds up the constant voltage, and once the charge is very much charge is complete and comes to an open circuitry, it becomes float or trickle in nature. So this is about the battery charging. And next come to the fluorescent lamp and solid state lighting. So in this it takes switch mode converter. So these switch mode converter produce electronic blast. So this blast lighting up and produces the light in a fluorescent lamp. And next the same concept is used in series LED. So this series of LEDs corresponds a string. So this string again going to work with the switch mode converter. And next this automotive application. So generally we are taking fuel cells. So these fuel cells produce DC output. So this one fuel cells from this DC, one to storage the DC. This is of some 40 volts. And next taking again this supply to the inverter. So this inverter convert to AC. So this inverter runs the traction. So this is having some 500 volts. So this runs traction device. So like this vehicle is going to be run. And next another type. So during initial acceleration at low speed, power supplied by battery source. So during initial acceleration, power supplied by a battery source. And next during high acceleration, for high acceleration, power derived from both engine and battery. So here power is going to derived from both engine and battery. And next during high speed, so battery again charged. So here generation mechanism again begins, again the battery is charged. And next during braking, generator feeds energy back to the battery. So this marks the application of power electronic circuitry as well as in controlling the power in automotive applications. So these are the few examples of power electronics application. So this is a very vast field in which the application are far and very wide. So this is about the concept of power electronics. Thank you very much.